Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. For today's layout, we are doing a 12 by 12 layout using the Fancy Pants Designs Apothecary collection. I have selected that we're going to play with this sheet, and this is the back side of it. So we're going to commit to using these two sheets for my first project. And my first project is going to be influenced by the lovely Paige Evans. She recently has been doing what is it called? Like Make With Me Mondays, I believe she's calling her series, and she goes on live YouTube. Yeah, YouTube. And she makes layouts. And one of the weeks, I can't remember which one, she had made a pentagon shaped wreath with one of them. And it was able to feature like different papers from a collection that she was working with. Well, I'm not featuring different papers, but since I love this paper so much, I thought this would work good to cut each pentagon out with a different colored flower. And I cut one in a 2-inch pentagon. And then this one was too big. Once I made multiples to fit around the page and not have it go off the 12 by 12. Then I made a 1.5-inch one. And then this one was just way too tiny, because the circle became like right in here, very small in the middle. So then I had to make a pentagon that was 1.75 in length on all sides. So it's the middle one between both of them. And then this is the size that I do believe the lovely Paige Evans used in order to go around in a wreath that took up, a majority of the 12 by 12 space. So then I made them a few, like that's how I was able to kind of audition it, just to cut it out on like scrap paper. And then it definitely worked where, you move them around. Yeah, it would be a perfect circle in the middle. So that is what we are doing. So I am going to pick and select, which flowers we're going to cut out. Will be the only truly design element to keep track of, And then we're going to use the opposite side. I'm going to cut these out. And I know that I'm going to cut them out without the antennas. Like the antennas are just too delicate. I'm going to cut right around them. And then these will be the little embellishments and we'll fold the wings up, I feel too. So that's why we're going to commit to using both of the pages. I wish they were on two separate pages. That way I still had them to use again, but it is quite all right. At least we'll commit there. And I do have the ephemera ready to go, the both packs, the enamel dots. And we'll pick a lovely title from the thicker collection as well. And I still haven't selected a photo yet, but I figure half of the design part will be here with this. I know on hers, she also did some stitching around the edges. I don't know if I'm going to do the stitching, but I also know that she popped hers up on fun foam this time. Yeah, so we might actually do that. I have plenty of fun foam that we can make this a little bit more dimensional in nature. But first, let's get started just selecting where we're going to cut out our pentagon pieces from, and that way we'll get a nice taste of this pattern paper. So let's get started. Now that I think about it, on her Make It Monday series that Paige has been doing, she probably did offer a cut file for this layout / sketch, which probably would be easier, but to still do what I am trying to do with the pentagons and definitely select the area of pattern paper I want to cut out, a cut file wouldn't have been conducive, but there is probably a cut file available in her Facebook group or something like that. For me, selecting each flower was half of the gorgeousness of this layout. For me, I always lean towards a good grid layout, and I always will enjoy a nice wreath layout, and this one fell into that wreath category for me. So me selecting it, this was definitely the labor of love portion. I definitely probably listened to an audiobook and just zoned out right after Valentina went down for bed. These parts of scrapbooking are always the enjoyable parts for me. I don't mind cutting out things like this and making it very specific to what I wanted. Like I said, you probably could have gone back and stitched these pentagons. I did not do that step. Even maybe a sewing machine would have worked out really nicely as well. And I'm just making sure I like the arrangement, and I'm using the scrap paper to kind of delineate where my photos will be, so I needed a few more of these pentagons. The photos I select are from a trip to the roller rink, so I've been taking her roller skating on the weekends, and they kind of are pink and purpley in nature, so they went well with this collection I found, and that worked out quite nicely to substitute two of the spots, to occupy two of the spots for this. You can already see I've cut out the butterflies as well without the antennas because that's just too hard, and using them as embellishments around the wreath as well. I'm auditioning out a few other purpley and pink embellishments that I found in the collection. But like I did on my unboxing, the collection is very like earthy nature, and nothing wrong with that, but sometimes when you want to keep it to an isolated theme, like just these pretty flowers, selecting a few of the embellishments got a little bit harder. So I just have them a few, you can see them around the whole length of the layout, just like some that I want to use. Here I am just taking, once again, the time and effort to pop everything out on fun foam from these squares. No, they're rectangles that I get from Walmart, and one does already have a sticky back that I usually attach to the paper as already, and then I add liquid glue to the back once I am happy with where they're at to the background paper. Something like this for this layout too. I know on my first one I posted these out of order from when I made them, because I made this one first, and then the one that was the ruffled hearts I did make second. But I did make them in the same sit-down setting of playing with this collection, so I apologize for that. But in the second one, I did do a little bit of the packaging technique as mixed media, in which we just put sprays or any sort of watercolor or liquid inks that you may have on packaging, like a piece of plastic, squishing it together and smushing it down on paper. That would have worked on something like this as well, because it is a stark white background. So just keep it in mind whenever you want to introduce some mixed media like that. Even some simple maybe stamping could have worked of a butterfly or just some text to add interest, or how we call it, like grunge up the background. So that way it just had your eye travel around the page a little bit more. But don't get me wrong, I am just as happy either grunging up the background or leaving it as a stark white, because sometimes for me, I love how stark white photographs for, you know, I hate to say it, but for my, you know, Instagram feed and stuff, just having a nice white contrast always looks pleasant when scrolling. So just two different sides of the apple to think about whenever you are crafting and doing it. Part of my assignment always when I'm on design teams is to take, you know, pretty photos of the projects, and so I do keep that in mind from time to time. So here I am, you know, embellishing it further with the icon pack. So there's a bunch of little stars. There are a bunch of little leaf like foliage, some botanicals. I really try to occupy the spaces that are between them or around them. You can see me trying to like audition out a few more of the leaves and stuff. And if they just weren't working well or maybe too big, I definitely skip them. That is okay to do. This is my layout and I can make it look however I want. But I'm trying to sprinkle in a few of the things. And now that I even look at it while doing this, I didn't add any sequins, like sequins from Spiegelmom scraps would have been nice. And I know there's one called Wine or Not, something that definitely has that Merlot, burgundy, and purpley colors. But here I go with some of the classic Heidi Swapp gold splatters. I am running so low on this stuff, guys. I know I have a Liquitex gold ink version, and I know I have a Nuvo one. It's just not the true rich gold like this one is. Here I am going in with, it's either Midnight or it's just black splatter. That is the acrylic paint sprays from Dina Wakley. I love those as well, and all of my inks sit above my desk so that they're always kind of like a finishing touch for me. I'm going through the foam thicker collection in order to pick out my title, and Wonderful Day fit perfectly inside that spot. And then I'm going to add one of the, I think it's a cardstock sticker of a dragonfly down in the little area of that area of the inside. Audition a few other ones, and then I will go in with journaling after the fact, because I'll mention it soon. Like once I did the splatter, this has to all dry. I can't like rest my hand on it, and it definitely, I didn't do the journaling right now. But the journaling, like I said, will be exactly what I shared with you about going roller skating and how she has really taken to it. She goes to the lessons, and then we stay and skate for an hour or two more. One day we skated like 4 hours or so, including her lesson, and even I was tired, but she's definitely enjoying the roller skating, and that's a fun experience for me to share with her. Finishing it off with some of the enamel dots in the collection, and that will finish this beautiful layout. Okay, that will wrap up this layout. I will do my journaling right in there once it dries so that I can lay my hand down in there, because you saw me already smudge it right there. I loved adding in all of the splatter just to add something, because I felt it was like too like, what was the word I was looking for? Too perfect with it not having some of this like grungy splatters. I did it in black and in the gold. There's dimension. There's things to look at in every spot. I thought the title worked out good. And then I picked out photos within my camera roll that had these like deeper colors and purple. And luckily I had some roller skating photos. So we'll be talking about roller skating right in there. Thank you so much for joining me. I will leave everything linked down below. Please subscribe if you are new here. And give this video a thumbs up. Thank you for joining me. Till next time, everyone. Bye.